السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We'll continue inshallah the courses of fiqh, and today we are going to talk about al-Umrah wal-Hajj. Hajj is the act of worshipping God by traveling to Mecca at a specific time and a specific way. It was imposed in the 9th year of Hijri, and it is obligatory once in a lifetime, and there should be no dispute or quarrel. If a minor performs Hajj, his Hajj is valid, but it is not enough for the obligatory Hajj, because one of the conditions of Hajj is that the Muslim is of sound mind, mature, free, and financially and physically capable. If the person is financially and not physically capable, he can delegate someone to perform Hajj on his behalf. As for the one who is physically capable but not financially, this is not obligatory for him, and the woman must be accompanied by a mahram, whether it is a husband or brother or father. Otherwise, it is not obligatory for her. Hajj begins from the 1st of the month of Shawwal until the 10th of the Hajj. There are specific times which are the limits of at which Hajj and Umrah pilgrims are not allowed to cross except through Ihram, and there are 5 of them, and it is not likely to enter Ihram before, and whoever is incapable, he slaughters a sheep in Mecca and distributes it to the poor. Whoever intends to perform the Hajj by place and approaches the appointed times must wear his garment and robe, and he can wear them from home. He will perform whatever he wants of the Hajj or the Umrah. There are 3 things: Al-Tamattu, who performs Umrah alone, then enters Ihram for Hajj in the same year; Al-Qiran, which consists of entering Ihram for Umrah and Hajj; and Al-Ifrad, which is the only Hajj. The pillars of Hajj are 4 in number: Al-Ihram, standing in Arafat, Tawaf al-Ifada, and Sa'i between Al-Safa and Marwa, the 2 mountains. Whoever neglects a pillar, his Hajj is not completed. We have first of all Al-Ihram. Is the intention to enter into a ritual. This is not Ihram clothing, and it is forbidden for a man to wear stitched clothing, such as a shirt, pants, or a hat, which means anything that is fitted to the body, measure of the limb, and nothing sewn to it. It is authorized for those who cannot afford to wear pants. A woman cannot wear the niqab or gloves, and it is not permitted for a man to cover his head with a turban or the like, but he can seek shade with an umbrella. It is not permitted to wear perfume, wax, or cut nails. It is not permitted to have sexual relations with one's wife, nor to kiss her, nor to touch her, or nor to hunt, except the crow, the mouse, the scorpion, the snake, the greedy dog, and the kite, and it is not permitted to fly it. The marriage contract is not valid, but whoever has sexual relations with his wife must slaughter a sheep. And the rest of the forbidden things include a ransom, such as fasting or feeding 6 people, for each poor person half a sa. As for anyone who commits one of the prohibited things through forgetfulness, ignorance, or under duress, nothing is due to him. It is permissible to wear slippers, tie the izar with a thread to cover the private parts, or keep money, wear a watch, glasses, ring, or headphones, wash clothes they are dirty, and take a bath. Standing in Arafat, it begins at noon on the day of Arafat until dawn on the day of sacrifice, and we invoke and remember frequently. Tawaf al-Ifada after midnight on the night of sacrifice, and there is no limit to its intending time. It is better not to delay it beyond the month of the Hajj. Tawaf has conditions, which are purity of the body, covering the private parts, which means 7 turns without stopping, and it is not to walk quickly. With the footsteps close together, kiss the black stone, pray 2 rak'ahs after completing the circumambulation behind the Maqam Ibrahim, a sa'i between Safa and Marwa and not separating them, which is 7 among the duties of Hajj. Also entering into Ihram from the Miqat, continuing to stand at Arafat until sunset, spending the night in Muzdalifah, spending the night at Mina on the nights of Tashriq, throwing stones at Aqaba from midnight on the day of sacrifice, and the time for throwing stones on the 3 days of Tashriq begins at noon, which are 7 pebbles, increasing which each pebbles or stone, starting with the first, then al-wusta, the middle, and then jamrat al-aqaba. These stones are picked up from anywhere, or pebbles, and it is not permissible to curse or insult them. They must be placed in the basin, and it is not permissible to throw them all together, but rather one after the other. It is not permissible to delegate stone throwing except to someone who is unable, such as a sick person or pregnant woman. Whoever forgets the number of pebbles, let him build at least one. But whoever thinks after that, let him give some food in charity, and after that he must shave or shorten all of his hair. Then the farewell circumambulation, but the menstruating woman does not circumambulate. The characteristics of Hajj: first, entering Ihram from the miqat, whether performing Umrah, then Hajj, or Umrah and Hajj together, or Hajj only. So he says, Labbaika, O God, Labbaik Allahumma Hajjan, or Labbaik Allahumma Hajjan wa Umrah, or Labbaik Allahumma Umrah wa Hajja. And it is sunnah for him to wash perfume and wear the Ihram clothes, then he performs the prayer. And here he say, لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. The translation: at your service, O God, here you are, there is no partner with you. At your command, verily, praise and blessings are yours, and dominion has no partner with you. Until he reaches Mecca, and the talbiyah is interrupted in Umrah if he begins its circumambulation, and the talbiyah is interrupted in Hajj if he begins stoning Jamrat al-Aqaba. Then he entered the sacred mosque and begins directly the tawaf of arrival alone, or we compare. And if he is doing tamattu', then it is the tawaf of Umrah. He begins with the black stone, kisses it if possible, and says in the first half, in the name of God, or Bismillah wallahu akbar, Allahumma imanan bika wa tasdiqan bi kitabika wa wafa'an bi ahdika wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyika, which means in the name of God, and God is great, O God, out of faith in you and believe in your book and fulfillment of your covenant and following the sunnah of your Prophet Muhammad. Then he says Allahu Akbar at the beginning of each half. Then he places the house on his left and circumambulates 7 circuits, starting with the black stone and ending with it, and recites at Maqam Ibrahim, and take from Maqam Ibrahim a prayer place. Then he prays 2 light rak'ahs behind Maqam Ibrahim if possible, otherwise in any place in the mosque. He recites Surah Al-Kafirun and Ikhlas after Al-Fatiha, and it is possible to drink from the water, Zamzam, and bathing in it. Then he goes out to Safa and recites, indeed, Inna Safa wal Marwa min sha'ir Allah. Indeed, Safa and Marwa are among the rituals of God, until the end of the verse. Then he descends heading to Marwa, and so on for 7 rounds. And if he completes them, he will cut all the hair on his head. It is permissible for a menstruating woman to sa'i, and there is no supplication during the Safa and Marwa circuits, and the woman should shorten all the ends of her hair. And for whoever performs Hajj alone or by combining Umrah and Hajj, he remains in Ihram until the day of sacrifice and does not dissolve by shaving or cutting his hair. On the 8th day of the Hajj, the person performing Hajj performs the ritual bath, perfumes himself, puts on his Ihram clothes, goes to Mina, and performs the noon prayer. Al-Asr, Al-Maghrib, Al-Isha, Fajr are shortened without plural, without Jama', and it is possible to spend the night at Mina that night. When the 9th day rises, he goes to Arafat. When the sun sets, sorry for distribution, the interruption of this voice. When the sun sets, he prays Dhuhr and Asr, shortening and plural, and he remembers, supplicates, asks for forgiveness, al-istighfar, and reads the Quran. Then when the sun sets on the day of Arafat, the pilgrim departs for Muzdalifah and prays Maghrib and Isha, combined and shortened, then stays there. He prays Al-Fajr, and when he prays Al-Fajr, he goes to Mash'ar al-Haram, which is currently the Muzdalifah mosque. So he stands facing the Qibla and remembers remembers God a lot, praises Him, glorifies Him, recites the talbiyah and prays until dawn comes. Then he returns to Mina. When he reaches Mina, he throws Jamrat al-Aqaba first, which is 7 pebbles, saying Allahu Akbar, with each pebble. Then he sacrifices his sacrificial animal, shave his head, and shaving is better than cutting it. And a woman cuts her hair, and all prohibited things are permitted except coming to the wife, then applying perfume and wearing his usual clothes, going to Mecca and performing the tawaf, al-ifada and as-sa'i. Then he does sa'i if he does tamattu, if he is alone or in qiran, and it is permissible for him to have sexual relations with his wife Jamrat al-Aqaba, to slaughter the sacrificial animal, shaving, shortening tawaf al-ifada and sa'i between as-Safa and Marwa will be done in order. And if some of them arrive before others, then there is no harm. But if they end, the pilgrim must spend the night in Mina on the 11th, 12th, and 13th night for late comers. In the midday sun on the 11th, he throws 3 small jamarat, 7 people, saying Allah Akbar, which with each people facing the Qibla on the right and raising his hand and supplicating. Then the 7 middle people saying Allah Akbar with each people. Then he moves forward and he and stands to the left and facing the Qibla and supplicates to God. Then he moves towards Shamrat al-Aqaba and throws 7 pebbles, Allah Akbar, with each people, and does not get up, not on the here on the 12th day. He stows the 3 Jamarat, then performs the final tawaf, except for the menstruating woman who is obliged to do so, who is not obliged to do so. The sacrificial animal is that which is brought to the sacred house from the livestock, which are camels, cows, and sheep, in order to seek closeness. There is Hadi, Umrah Hajj, and Hadi Shukran, or Mutamatta, or those who do Hajj and Umrah. However, if he does not find the sacrificial animal or its price, he fasts for 3 days during the Hajj and 7 days upon his return to his country. As for the sacrificial animal of Al-Jibran, it is an obligatory ransom in the pilgrim neglects an obligatory duty or commits any of the prohibited things during Ihram. He must not eat it, but rather give it as alms to the poor in the sacred place, and the animal must be free from defects. Camels must reach 5 years, cows 2 years, goats 1 year, and sheep 6 months. As for Umrah, its pillars are the intention to enter Ihram, Tawaf, and Sa'i. هذا والله أعلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.